back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the ICT 2022 model. Now, this model is an extremely strong model, very simple for beginner traders to learn. This is a model that I currently trade myself whenever I see it present itself and it's correlated to my bias. It's an extremely strong model and it only consists of 4 simple things. So today I'm going to be talking about what those 4 simple things are and how you can find them for yourselves. So here are the 4 things that we are looking for with this model. This is in order. We are looking for a liquidity sweep, followed by a break of structure or a market structure shift, pull back to a fair value gap, and then for the trade to go lower on a clear draw on liquidity. So right here, what do we have? This is our price action, and this is the 2022 model. As you can see right here, first thing, we have our sweep of liquidity. Then what do we have? With this sweep of liquidity, we have just gathered a lot of selling orders, and we are now making a move to the downside. And as you can see, we've put in a low right here. But before putting in that low, what did we do? We created a market structure shift with this low right here, noticing the candle body closure closing below this low, turning it into a market structure shift. What else do we create? We create a fair value gap in this same manipulation leg after taking out this liquidity here. As you can see, we then got our leg down, created the fair value gap here, price fed up straight back into this fair value gap, and then we get our move lower to take out the draw on liquidity. This is an extremely simple model, only consists of 4 simple things. So I'm going to go over some more examples of how you guys can trade this. Okay, so here I am on XAU/USD after giving you that demonstration, and here I can see a perfect example of the 2022 model presenting itself. So what is the first thing that we look for? If you guys can remember, it is our liquidity sweep. Looking right here, we've got this big zone of liquidity, a lot of selling orders resting up here. The market then hunts this, perfect closures below, telling us that sellers are now in control of the market. Next thing we see, market structure shift. Notice this candle closure here was also the candle closure from this manipulation leg going lower, and then it created our fair value gap. What does price do? As soon as we create this fair value gap, we get a little run lower, and then we pull back higher with this candle here, pulling back into this fair value gap. So as you can see here, as soon as price feeds back up into this fair value gap, we get our pullback to the fair value gap, and then we get our distribution lower to take out these lows down here. As you can see right here, we have a perfect draw on liquidity, being the sell side liquidity resting below here, and the market comes to take this out absolutely perfectly. So this is a perfect demonstration of the ICT 2022 model. As you can see, it worked absolutely perfect. Stop loss above the recent high here. And then after we tap back into the fair value gap with this candle, we then get our perfect distribution lower to take out the draw on liquidity. And right here, there is another perfect model. Same thing we get in order, liquidity sweep, followed by a manipulation leg lower, creating a fair value gap. Also creating a market structure shift right here. As soon as price pulls back into this fair value gap, that is then your shorting opportunity. As you can see here, entering as soon as price taps back into this gap, stop loss above the recent swing high, targeting lower price. You could have targeted this low here, would have been an absolutely perfect low to target. It's an intermediate term low resting inside this fair value gap. That would have been my target, and as you can see, another perfect play. So I strictly trade this model on the 5 and 3 minute time frame. I found the most conviction and the best and the highest win rate trading the 5 minute time frame. However, I've also traded this on a 3 minute time frame and got very good results. I would advise that everybody watching this video goes and back tests this for themselves, forward tests this to see how you can use this model yourself. But as you can see, with the 4 simple steps, I've shown you how you can catch 3 winning trades. Okay, so right here I have another perfect example of the 2022 model. As you can see, we've got this resting liquidity right here above this high. Price then gets a hunt higher to take out this liquidity with this candle here. What else do? We create another market structure shift to the downside. If you guys are still confused on liquidity sweeps, breaks of structure and market structure shifts, I have a video listed in this playlist about those. So feel free to watch that for further explanation on these. Another thing we get that I've noticed, another break of structure here. So this is just confirming that the new trend is now bearish, and all we need is a retracement back to the inefficiency for then a move lower. As you can see, that's what we get here. Now with this fair value gap, I would have personally been entering off consequent encroachment due to the size of it. So here is consequent encroachment of the fair value gap. That would have been my entry due to the size of the fair value gap. As you can see, it's bigger than normal fair value gaps. So these have a higher tendency for consequent encroachment to fill. That would have just given you a much better fill. Stop loss above the recent swing high. targeting opposing liquidity. Could have been these lows here, it would have been these lows for me, and as you can see, it would have had another beautiful winning trade, 1 to 3 risk to reward. So if you guys are confused on any of the components for this model, there is a video explaining every single one of them. There is a video in this playlist about liquidity sweeps. As you can see right here, we have a perfect one. There's a video in this playlist about market structure shifts and breaks of structure, and there is a video in this playlist about fair value gaps. So feel free to watch those if any of you are still getting confused. I also have free live trading Discord, so feel free to join that. The link will be in the description of this video. I go live every single day at 9:30 Eastern time to 11 AM Eastern time. Okay, so now I'm going to be going over some of the trades that I've taken using this model, and here is a perfect one that I took. As you can see, instead of getting a sweep of liquidity, we get an SMT, which is essentially the same thing. Just means that ES came to take out this high rather than NQ. So we have our liquidity sweep right here. We then, with that liquidity sweep, we create the market structure, we create the fair value gap, and we also create the market structure shift. As you can see right here, we have the shift in structure. We also have another one here. So there are 2 market structure shifts there, and then we get our pullback to the fair value gap, and then we get our trade lower to the sell side liquidity. Another really good thing about this trade, when we created this SMT, we created this inside of a 4-hour fair value gap, meaning that the likeliness of us going lower was a lot higher. All we needed was a pullback to a fair value gap, our break of structure or market structure shift, and then we could take the trade lower. Now for my next trade, this was the exact same. As you can see, price came lower, created an SMT down here, tapping into a 4-hour gap. We then pushed higher, created a market structure shift, created it, and then pulled back to a fair value gap, and then we got our move higher. I closed this trade early due to an SMT, and as you can see, it was still a great winning trade. As you can see, price is already reacting out of a 5-minute fair value gap. We swept out all these resting highs here. We then get our move lower, and with this move lower, we create the break of structure and a fair value gap. We then get a push higher back inside this fair value gap, tapping off the EMAs, and then price moves lower to the 4-hour with no bottom wick. This was an absolutely perfect trade, and I would have taken this any day of the week. Now for the last trade, this is a bit of a different one. We have our sweep of liquidity right here. We then got our move lower, creating the break of structure and the fair value gap. We then pull back inside of the fair value gap, entering on the previous leg that was broken, and we created an SMT inside of the gap. So this was an absolutely perfect trade. Had massively high conviction trading this model, and as you can see, we fall back lower to take out the intermediate term low. So here are the keynotes for today's video. What we are looking for in order, we are looking for a daily bias and then a liquidity sweep matching our daily bias. If you guys are still confused on daily bias, I also have a video in this playlist, so feel free to go watch that if you're still confused on daily bias. So after getting our daily bias, we're looking for a liquidity sweep that matches our daily bias, and then with that liquidity sweep, we are looking for the reaction leg to create a break of structure or market structure shift. We're also looking for that leg to create a fair value gap. We're looking for a clear draw on liquidity resting below or above, depending if we're taking longs or shorts. And then we're looking for a pullback to the fair value gap for our entry. So this is a very simple model, very effective. If you want to trade this, if you want to learn and trade this model alongside me, there's a link to my free live trading Discord below. Feel free to join that. I trade this model more or less every single day unless any of my other models present themselves. But that's going to be all for today's video.